Hollywood, entertainment capital of the world. Visiting the familiar landmarks today, one can recognize where many of the all-time great movie and television stars were created. But it is from Hollywood's newest studio that the newest of television celebrities is soon to come in a brand new cartoon series on this station. And here in this studio of Hanna-Barbera Productions is where we'll meet him. So stand by. Here comes a star. When I was invited out by Bill Hanna and Joe Barbera to meet their newest star, I considered myself a very lucky guy. And if you'd like to look over my shoulder, you'll understand why.
Good morning, Hanna-Barbera.
Mr. Burr, we'll see you now.
Thank you. Good morning, Hanna-Barbera. Thank you.
Hello, I'm George Fenneman.
Good morning. I'll tell Mr. Barbera's secretary you're here.
Thank you.
Skylar, Mr. Fenneman is here.
Did you ever find yourself suddenly being stared at by celebrities? World-famous celebrities at that. Well, there I was with three of them staring at me. One of them, a certain smarter-than-an-average bear named Yogi, who visits 20 million homes every week.
Stop! Stop! Yogi! Yogi! Let me off first, Yogi, and you can ride the train every day. Help yourself to picnic baskets, anything you want.
Keep talking, sir. I'll never get a better chance to make a good deal. Yeah!
Another, a hound named Huckleberry, so famous that even his bark has been translated into 17 languages and seen in 47 countries.
In this business, you got to be extra polite like. Howdy, my name is Huckleberry Hound, and I represent the Scrubby Brush Company. Well, now, I see you have one of our products in your hand there. That's what we call in the trade, the brush off.
And a certain Stone Age character, whose name is a household word on 4 continents.
Hey, Barney, you going to work today or not? Oh, sorry I'm late, Fred. I was playing with a baby. Well, that's no excuse for... Hey, hold it. What, baby? Our baby, Betty's and mine. Our son arrived this morning. Well, congratulations. Miss Pebbles Flintstone, I'd like to present Mr. Bam Bam Rubble.
Pebbles and Bam Bam, so well loved they've become 2 of the country's most popular dolls.
If Pebbles and Bam Bam can spare you, Mr. Fenneman, Mr. Hanna and Mr. Barbera would like to see you.
Oh, thank you.
They've asked to have you join them in the projection room. This way, please.
Fine.
What do you think, Bill? Test looks good, Joe. The backgrounds are nice and sharp.
Mr. Barbera, here's Mr. Fenneman.
Oh, hello, George.
Oh, I see you, Joe.
You know Bill Hanna here.
Yes,
Sure.
yes. How are you, George?
Fine.
Glad you could make it. Sit
Thanks,
down.
darling.
We'll have you meet our new star in just a few minutes.
Yeah, but first we have to look at a musical sequence.
It's one of the song numbers from our new Yogi Bear feature movie.
And you're welcome to watch.
Well, thank you.
Tony,
Yes, Joe.
roll it.
Right away. This song is near the opening of our feature, George. Here, Cindy Bear is trying to make Yogi realize it's spring.
Oh, that's a terrific sequence. What's the name of the picture?
Hey there, it's Yogi Bear.
Starring Yogi Bear and all his pals in Jellystone Park.
I suppose you decided it's time Yogi had a chance to appear in a movie theater in his own full-length feature.
That's it exactly, George.
And when is it coming out?
Well, we're hoping for early summer.
Good luck to you and Yogi.
Well, we all thank you, but you came to meet our big new star. Tony,
Yes, Joe.
you know that soundtrack for the opening of the new Ideal Toy series?
Have it right here.
Well, stand by to have it piped in the Bill's office. We'll be there in a couple of minutes.
Will do. Shall we go?
All right.
Mr. Abe Kent, long distance, please.
Well, this place is certainly busy. I understand you've been in your new studio only a couple of months, and already you're pushing the walls out.
We certainly are.
I guess you fellas have created more successful cartoon series for television than all other producers combined.
Sit down, George.
How do you account for it?
Well, George, since you ask a serious question, I'll try to give you a serious answer. You see, Bill and I believe in entertainment. We've never tried to preach in our pictures. We just try to project warmth and good feeling.
Our real stock in trade is wholesome fun, and for that we've found there is no age limit.
Yeah, now the other basic thing is the kind of characters you start out with. All of our successful ones have been distinctive in their own way. Huck, Yogi, Quick Draw McGraw, Top Cat, Fred Flintstone. Each of them has his own strengths and little human failings that make for fun in the stories.
And does the same thing apply to this new character of yours, the one I'm here to meet?
You can judge for yourself. Okay, Tony, will you run that soundtrack, please?
We've got a gorilla for sale, a gorilla for sale. Won't you buy him, take him home and try him? Gorilla for sale. Don't you want a little gorilla you can call your own? A gorilla who'll be with you when you're all alone. Gorilla, a gorilla for sale. Take our advice at any price. A gorilla like Magilla is mighty nice. Gorilla, Magilla, gorilla for sale.
Meet Magilla.
Hey, he's great. A gorilla.
That's right, Magilla Gorilla.
Well, how did you happen to decide on him for your new star?
Well, I tell you, George, the Ideal Toy Company came to us and asked us to create a new show for them. You know, something fresh, something that would be a surefire weekly half-hour program. How many characters did we work on, Bill? Do you remember?
I've lost count, Joe, but then one of us came up with this, and somehow we knew we were on the right track.
You know, as you can see, that early sketch is quite different than the final version of Magilla.
And in between, every artist and writer in the studio came up with helpful suggestions, and finally we knew we had him visually.
Now, that's when the work really begins.
How do you mean?
Well, we'd given him a body. Now we had to give him the rest of it. A voice, a heart, a mind, a soul.
Yeah, and what was Magilla going to do? Where was he going to do it? And to decide that meant story conferences. You know, a whole series of them. And even with the very best of writers and idea men, the right answer can take a long time to find.
Magilla, you're a big help. Why don't you tell us where you're supposed to live?
He doesn't know either.
Well, we can always go back to the jungle idea.
And what's funny about a gorilla in the jungle?
Okay, no jungle.
How about a zoo?
And he escapes every week?
You know, Magilla ought to be someplace that he basically likes to be.
Yeah, like Yogi and Jellystone.
Yeah.
Hey, wait a minute. How about a pet shop?
A pet shop.
Yeah, you know, I remember when I was a kid, there was a pet shop in the neighborhood, and when everything else was closed, like on Sunday afternoon, you know, there'd always be a crowd around that window. Kids and grown-ups watching the kittens or the puppies or whatever there is in a pet shop window.
Boy, that's right. If there's any one place with surefire people appeal, it's a pet store.
And why not have Magilla in the window? You know, customers keep buying them, and always in some manner he keeps coming back.
Yeah, and each time Magilla gets sold, it's a different adventure.
He doesn't mind coming back because he likes it in the window.
And he likes the guy who runs the place. Magilla keeps him broke buying bananas. I can do 6 banana stories myself.
Each him out of house and store.
Yeah, and think of all the other animals in the pet shop. Holy smokes.
Yeah, we should
Keep
do
this
one at
guy
the zoo.
going on.
We do one out west.
How about
Then
a
you take 'em up on the
banana-eating
moon.
contest?
And then you
do one where he inherits a banana plantation.
Shanghai on a banana boat.
And from this point, we went into many weeks of additional work developing Magilla's character and background, as well as the owner of the pet shop.
And how's this for Mr. Peebles, the owner of the pet shop?
What do you think, Joe?
Boy, that's it. If Ideal Toy goes along, we're in business. And the Ideal people were just as happy about our plans for Magilla Gorilla as we are. In fact, they gave us a complete go-ahead with just one request.
And that was that the characters in the program itself would be so wholesome that parents would be glad to have their children watch it.
Of course, that's what we want, too.
And so weeks later, we had this. Our first storyboard, and we were on our way. The first episode of Magilla Gorilla went into production.
Are you comfortable, Magilla? No man could ask for more. So imagine how a gorilla feels. But what do we do for laughs? Like maybe you got a hobby?
Hey, that's a fine reading, boys. Now let's do a pickup on the last 4 speeches and try it a little more naive on maybe you got a hobby. Are we still rolling? All right. Pickup on scene 49.
Casting the perfect voices to fit new characters is always a challenge with any series, and sometimes we audition practically every cartoon voice in Hollywood to find them. The actors are just as anxious as the rest of the team to make sure that we get real character and humor into every line on that tape. With this finished, the voices all recorded, we really tackle the hard work.
You mean the job of actually animating the picture?
That's right.
You know, I've never seen the whole process right from the beginning. Suppose I could?
It's all set. Let's follow one sequence through, this one right here, from the very first Magilla film. Then we'll show you a complete Magilla cartoon, the very first one made.
I learned very soon that a great many different talents and a tremendous amount of work go into the job of converting a sketch on a storyboard into a finished animation scene. The men in the layout department are art directors for the picture. They have the task of designing the individual scenes. The animation director maps out the exact action for each scene, and he has to work with the animators to plan the movements just as carefully as if he were directing live actors on a stage. Just exactly how Magilla will move is the job of the animator. It's no trick to make a figure move with a succession of drawings, but it is a trick to put real personality and humor into that movement. One important step involves the head of the ink and paint department. Here, every final detail concerning Magilla's appearance is decided, from the color of his eyes to the shade of his suspenders. The animator has worked only with the pencil sketches on paper. Now, the girls in the ink and paint department outline each drawing on transparent sheets of celluloid, and then paint in the rest. It may require as many as 5,000 individual drawings for a scene that runs only a minute. The completed cells are checked with infinite care. Imperfect drawings or cells could mar the action of an entire scene. While other artists have been working on characters, the artists in the background department have been providing the scenery, the settings in front of which Magilla will perform. It's in the camera department that these different picture elements finally come together. Animation films, of course, require a very special camera. The different drawings and backgrounds must be moved exactly as the director indicated in order to achieve the final effect. After the scene has been photographed and the film developed, the editorial department can finally see the picture on this machine and hear the various soundtracks, the voice, the sound effects, and the specially recorded music.
I don't mind them getting ahead in life, but not my head.
Elusive beast, these gorillas. Now, where did he go? Good grief, what a homely fountain.
I resemble that remark, sir. Goodbye, sir.
Well, George, how was the tour?
Terrific. I'm sold on Magilla Gorilla. You got a great show. When can I see a whole episode?
Right now, in Joe's office. Come on.
All right.
And with this closed-circuit TV setup, we can see for ourselves just how a show is going to look when it's broadcast later on. Here's your own private preview.
We've got a gorilla for sale, Magilla Gorilla for sale. Won't you buy him, take him home and try him, gorilla for sale. See in the window, Magilla Gorilla, full of charm and appeal. Handsome, elegant, intelligent, sweet, he's really ideal. Don't you want a little gorilla you can call your own, a gorilla? Show, presented by Ideal Toys. They're wonderful toys. They're ideal. Get it? Gorilla, Magilla Gorilla for sale.
How much is that gorilla in the window?
Take our advice at any price. A gorilla like Magilla is mighty nice. Gorilla, Magilla Gorilla for sale.
Hey, you've really got a winner.
Yeah, well, we think so. You know, of course, McGill is only the top star of the half-hour show.
There'll be other characters, too?
Tony, will you run those clips of Punkin' Puss and Mushmouth and Ricochet Rabbit and Droop Along Coyote?
They're all set. Coming up.
Now, with Punkin' Puss and Mushmouth, we have the historic feud between a cat and a mouse. And they're also feuding because they're hillbillies.
Come on out, Mush Mouse. You all can't stay in there forever.
And you all can't hold that anvil forever.
Hey, how did you... Ooh-wee! That aches and pains. Imagine a mangy mice trying to outsmart a cagey cat. But it ain't gonna do you no good, 'cause I got a beady eye bead on you, and I hardly ever misses at this range.
Bullseye! I hardly ever misses at this range either, Punkin' Puss.
How'd you get over there? No matter, I'll blast you wherever you be. Hold still. I can't hit no moving target.
Now, Ricochet Rabbit, with his ricochet bullets, is a sheriff who is the fastest draw in the West. And Droop Along Coyote, his sidekick, is the droopiest deputy in the West.
Remember, Droop, we must be very gentlemanly in our approach.
Oh, a couple of kids trick-or-treating, huh? Beat it. This isn't Halloween.
Howdy, sir. I'm Sheriff Bing, Bing, Bing! Ricochet Rabbit. I'm here to rescue the widow.
Mr. Ricochet is the fastest sheriff in the West.
Yeah? Well, let's see him outrun a bullet. He's doing it.
I sure wish I could.
I think that bullet's about spent.
Now what, Mr. Ricochet?
I'm a-going in after him, Droop.
I swear he's gonna start up a real twister one of these days.
Then Magilla Gorilla will be on each of these shows, and he'll present cartoons featuring the other characters in the same half hour.
Every week, 52 weeks a year.
And beginning next August, we'll be doing an additional half-hour show for Ideal Toys with another whole set of new characters.
Boy, that sounds great. But when does the Magilla Gorilla show go on the air?
Very soon, the middle of January.
But are you sure that everybody knows about it? Who's telling the people all the details?
Who's going to tell the people? Why do you think we invited you here? You heard the whole story. You're going to tell them.
There's the camera, and there's the microphone right above you.
Well, sure. All right. Yes, it's true. The new Magilla Gorilla show will be seen on this station beginning in January, and will be seen every week at the same time throughout the year, 52 weeks a year. You won't want to miss Magilla Gorilla and Mr. Peebles and the other new characters Ideal Toys will bring to you. Punkin' Puss and Mush Mouse, Ricochet Rabbit, and Droop Along Coyote. In just a moment, your own station announcer will tell you exactly what time to tune in to see the very first Magilla Gorilla show. Magilla will be along every week at the same time, all year long. So listen for this theme song. It will mean television's newest star is on his way into your home. Stand by for Magilla Gorilla, and don't miss the premiere performance. Remember, here comes a star.
The window, Magilla Gorilla, full of charm and appeal. Handsome, elegant, intelligent, sweet. He's really ideal. Don't you want a little gorilla you can call your own? A gorilla who'll be with you when you're all alone. Gorilla, Magilla Gorilla for sale.
How much is that gorilla in the window?
Take our advice at any price. right. A gorilla like Magilla is mighty nice. Gorilla, Magilla, gorilla for sale.